Hello everyone, welcome to History and Culture. In warfare, the advancement of weapons is crucial. Being outdated means being at the mercy of others. Only through constant development can strength be enhanced. But how important are weapons, really? Weapons not only determine tactical forms but also influence the overall landscape of warfare. In other words, the methods and strategies of combat are often dictated by the types of weapons used. For example, muzzle-loading rifles, with their short range and poor accuracy, led to the practice of lining up for execution. Modern firearms, with superior precision and long range, have shifted combat away from formations to emphasize dispersion and cover. So, what weapons did the invincible Mongolian cavalry use? First, the bows of Yuan dynasty cavalry. The skillful use of bows and arrows is a common characteristic of all steppe cavalry. This primarily stems from the close connection between their lifestyle and combat methods. Drawing bows and shooting arrows became daily activities for herders. So the cavalry did not require special training, resulting in excellent horsemanship and high accuracy. What makes the bows of Mongolian cavalry unique? In the 14th year of the Jia Ding era, Song official Zhao Gong traveled to Mongolia and was quite resistant to the northern journey. Upon returning, he wrote records of the Mongols, detailing his observations. He noted about the bows of Mongolian cavalry: the bow must weigh over 1 stone. And the arrows are made from sand willow. The hand bows are very light and thin yet curved. Similarly, Italian traveler Marco Polo documented the weapons of Mongolian cavalry, indicating that they typically carried 3 bows, with at least one being of good quality, and equipped 3 quivers during combat. Zhao Gong's account and Marco Polo's observations corroborate each other, indicating that most Mongolian cavalry used high-quality bows weighing over 1 stone. The Brief History of the Black Tatars by Peng Dia also describes the bows of Mongolian cavalry. There are stubborn sheep horn bows, with the horn facing the target a total of 3 feet. There are signal arrows, snake bone arrows, and barbed arrows, carved wood for quivers, and decorated with feathers. The so-called stubborn sheep horn bow, upon investigation, is actually a composite bow, which is one reason why Mongolian cavalry predominantly used quality bows. Modern classifications of weapons include not only sniper rifles and submachine guns but also various types of ammunition, such as anti-riot rounds, armor-piercing shells, and hollow-point bullets. The weapons of Mongolian cavalry were similarly diverse, including high-quality bows as well as signal arrows, snake bone arrows, and barbed arrows. Signal arrows are hollow arrows that emit a sharp sound when launched, functioning similarly to modern signal flares. Snake bone arrows have larger, heavier heads suitable for close-range shooting, while barbed arrows are small and sharp, lightweight and ideal for long-distance attacks. Secondly, the close-range weapons of Mongolian cavalry. While the Mongolian army was skilled in archery and viewed it as their signature skill, this does not mean they only excelled in ranged shooting. Close combat was also an important tactic for Mongolian cavalry, requiring them to step out of the comfort zone of long-range fire to engage in real fighting. The Mongols were well aware of this, hence their rich variety of close combat tactics and weapons. For instance, Mongolian sabers include both ring and curved swords. The former is lightweight and sharp, while the latter is designed based on Islamic curved sword designs, suitable for continuous slashing in a charge, effectively avoiding being disarmed by armor. The Brief History of the Black Tatars mentions, there are ring swords, resembling those of the Hui people, lightweight and sharp, with a small target, making them easy to maneuver. The sabers were traditional weapons of steppe cavalry, used since the Xiongnu period, alongside spears. The guns used by Mongolian cavalry came in 2 types: one was sharp and hard, utilizing the cavalry's momentum to pierce enemy armor. The other featured backward hooks, facilitating the dismounting of enemies. The hooked spear used by Su Ning in Water Margin is a typical example of such weapons. The Brief History of the Black Tatars states, there are long and short spears, with blades like chisels, allowing for grip and penetration of heavy armor. In addition to these common weapons, the Mongolian army also possessed some rare weapons. The battle axe, a short-handled axe, was used for close combat against enemies. A heavy weapon referred to as gourd, commonly found in various novels, was presumably meant to counter armored foes, though its actual use diminished significantly after the establishment of the Yuan dynasty, becoming more of a ceremonial tool for the honor guard. The History of the Yuan Dynasty, Uniforms and Ceremonies, records, the gourd has a red lacquered head, pierced with a gold-painted copper hammer. Moreover, the Mongolian army had a unique weapon, lassos. The lasso is simply structured, usually consisting of a looped rope, with some incorporating metal hooks. In Water Margin, Husan Nyang's Binding Immortal Rope is an example of a lasso. The use of lassos was common among steppe troops, and this tactic was notably showcased in the Battle of Huangzhong between the Khitan and Tang, where Khitan General Li Kaigu used a lasso to capture Tang generals Zhang Xuanyu and Ma Jiaren. In addition to offensive weapons, the Mongolian army was also equipped with various defensive shields. Common shields were typically made from willow wood or leather, measuring 30 inches wide and 60 inches long. The Brief History of the Black Tatars records, there are defensive shields made of leather interwoven with straps, otherwise made of willow, 30 inches wide and twice the width in length. There is also a small shield called a round shield, worn on the shoulder. Designed for use during attacks, there is a round shield, used by the vanguard arm, allowing for shooting while dismounted, specifically for breaking the enemy. Iron round shields could serve as helmets, facilitating movement during a charge. There is an iron round shield, used in place of a helmet, for ease of rotation in battle. Additionally, there are large wooden shields, specifically designed for defense against cannon attacks. There are wooden shields, used for besieging and avoiding cannon fire. Although some literature mentions the Mongolian army using swords in combat, investigations indicate that they were not accustomed to using long swords in battle due to the difficulty of operation on horseback and the risk of breaking. However, it is certain that many Mongolian commanders preferred to use swords for commanding their troops. Finally, firearms used by Yuan dynasty troops. During the transition from the Song to the Yuan dynasty, the most significant change in weaponry was not merely the updating of cavalry equipment or the tactics of foot soldiers countering cavalry. These were merely continuations of previous technologies. The truly profound change lay in the introduction of firearms to the battlefield. Firearms were first utilized by Song dynasty garrison troops, who employed long tube-shaped gunpowder weapons to emit flames for short periods. In the wars between the Mongols and the Jin and Song dynasties, the Mongolian army suffered losses due to a lack of firearms. Thus, after the establishment of the Yuan dynasty, there was a particular emphasis on firearms, leading to the formation of specialized firearm units. During the late Yuan campaigns against peasant uprisings, the Yuan cavalry had become complacent due to long periods of peace, while the firearm units performed outstandingly, creating difficulties for the leaders of the peasant armies, including Zhu Yuanzhang. This was one reason why the Ming dynasty placed great emphasis on firearms after its establishment. Today, at the China Historical Museum in Beijing, there is a bronze cannon cast during the third year of the Ziyuan era of the Yuan dynasty, weighing nearly 7 kilograms and measuring 35 centimeters in length, with a caliber of 10.5 centimeters. Inscribed on it is, to pacify the borders and suppress bandits. 300 horses of the mountain. Leading one to ponder whether 300 refers to the cannon's number. The completeness of the weaponry of the Yuan dynasty army does not fully prove the sophistication of its tactics. But it indicates that this was an army that continuously learned. Able to choose appropriate weapons according to the situation. This adaptability was key to the Mongolian cavalry's rise from poverty to invincibility. As the saying goes, mountains do not reject the high, and seas do not reject the deep. Which is why they achieved such greatness. This is the History and Culture channel. Liking and subscribing are the greatest help and support to us. Thank you everyone, and see you in the next time.